Evening. Welcome back again to another live feed, live stream on Rashad Mitchell channel. Live feed. Let's get into it, man. The top 50 underrated rappers in hip hop history. This is a book that I wrote several years back, a long time ago, a decade ago. And it's just a book that I wrote called the top 50 underrated rappers in hip hop history. Let's get into it. It's my list that I put together at the time. So let's read the foreword. It says, there have been a plethora of rappers who have been revered as the greatest ever, or one of the greatest ever. Obviously, there are rappers like Biggie Smalls, Nas, Jay-Z, Tupac, or Rakim, who people would consider one of the greatest, if not the greatest. There has been other rappers who had lyrical skills, classic records, classic verses, influence which coincides with the pedigree for being one of the greatest. This is why this book has to be written, because this is a book geared towards rappers who've never been considered one of the top 10 greatest rappers of all time. Rappers like Grand Puba, who have been holding it down for years, whether it was with Master Ceremonies or Brand Nubian. He has never been considered one of the top 10 rappers, like one of the 10 greatest rappers, let alone one of the greatest. So without further ado, here is the top 50 underrated rappers in hip hop history. This is a book that I wrote, so let's get into it. It's my opinion. No, there's no right or wrong answers, but it's who I felt was in the top 50. So at number 50, I had MC Search. He was Eminem before Eminem, because there have been countless white rappers in the annals of hip hop, whether it was the Beastie Boys or Vanilla Ice or Everlast House of Pain. Yes, Eminem will go down as the greatest white rapper of all time, but the MC Search of the interracial hip hop group Third Base was Eminem before Eminem in terms of his lyrical skills that he utilized during the late 80s and early 90s, which made him one of the best underrated lyricists. MC Search grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens, and is of Jewish descent. He created the slang term called the gas face and the group Third Base. Search, along with Prime Minister Pete Nice and DJ Richie Rich, recorded the Cactus album, The Derelicts of Dialect, but the group disbanded and MC Search launched his solo career in 1992 with his first album, Return of the Product. The album featured two hit songs such as Here It Comes, which was a #1 hit, which showed that he could shine on his own without Third Base. But the song that would define his solo career was Back to the Grill, featuring Chubb Rock, Red Hot, Lovertone, and Nas. MC Search was executive producer for Nas Illmatic. Wisdom High says hi, dinner recommendation. Psych, McClure. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe right now. Right now I'm doing the top 50 underrated rappers in hip hop history. It's a book that I self-published, years ago. I'm going over the list. All right, MC Search had the delivery and the punchline. Just check out this verse. Got crazy game, so no one can stop me. But hey, yo, I'm white. I guess my game is hockey. In the final analysis, MC Search opened doors for white rappers who were lyrical, not having the punk rock ways of the Beastie Boys or the pop of pill of Vanilla Ice. I don't have him on the list. I don't have PD on the list, no. So I started with MC Search of Third Base. Now I'm going to start with number 49. I got Fat Joe. Fat Joe at number 49, No Average Joe. Fat Joe was one of the few Latino rappers that was representing his community during the early 90s and beyond. The career of Fat Joe has been a growing, progressive one in terms of improving his lyrical skills. No, PD is not my brother, man. He about this guy, Daryl, whatever his name is. All right, let's keep it going. Yeah, Micah Olsen, thanks for tuning in. Thank you. I'm doing good. We're doing my look at it, my top 50 underrated rappers. At number 49, Fat Joe. The career of Fat Joe has been a growing, progressive one in terms of improving his lyrical skills whenever he released an album. Fat Joe comes from the South Bronx area of New York City. In the early hip-hop years of Fat Joe, he was Fat Joe the Gangster. He became affiliated with the DITC, which stood for Digging in the Crates. Fat Joe made his solo debut in 1993 with the album Represent. The album was strictly gangster and hardcore. Whoever liked this video, like this live feed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. The song that stood out off the album was Flow Joe. The single was a #1 song on the Billboard Hot Rap Singles chart. 2 years later, Fat Joe released Jealous One's Envy in 1995. The album was in solid effort that was clever. So Fat Joe wanted to make his move as the self-professed king of New York as a kingpin. The songs that stood out were Success, Envy, The Blink Is Real, and Respect Mine. 3 years later, he released Don Cartagena in 1998. The songs that stood out was John Blaze featuring Nas, Big Pun, Jadakiss, and Raekwon. Bet Your Man Can't was another standout track in the title track. So in 2001, Fat Joe would achieve commercial success with Jealous One Still Envy. He made a collaboration with R. Kelly, We Thuggin', then What's Love featuring Ja Rule, singer Ashanti. The album was a top 10 hit for Fat Joe. Overall, Fat Joe came a long way from being gangster and hardcore to following the lane of being part thug and part player. Fat Joe opened doors for rapper Big Pun, and who will go down as the greatest Latino rapper ever. Number 48, I had Mr. Cheeks of the Lost Boys, Turn the Other Cheek. Mr. Cheeks came from the rap group The Lost Boys, who were hailed from Jamaica, Queens as a four-man crew. The group made their mark during the mid-90s with two gold albums, 1996, Legal Drug Money, and 1997's Love, Peace, and Happiness. The crew was known for hit songs like The Yearn, Renee, Get Up, Lifestyles of Rich and Shameless, Music Make Me High, but the song that would define the group was Jeeps, Let's Scoops, Beamers, and the Benz. Mr. Cheeks was the front man of the crew, but he was never considered one of the great MCs. With his contribution to the songs that was hits, qualifies Mr. Cheeks as one of the greats. The great poet Gil Scott Heron was the uncle of Mr. Cheeks. Cheeks had that catchy party type of flow to his lyrics, such as "Who's the best in this here rap game? For those who claim to be the best, I tear them out the frame. Representing putting Queens on the map. Double springs with some baggy jeans when I rap. Come up with a style to make it versatile. Don't treat me like a lame. I've been in this game for a while." But the good times of the Lost Boys would last due to the tragic shooting death of Freaky Top. Mr. Cheeks would go on his solo journey in 2001 and make a song that would define his career as a solo artist, Lights, Camera, Action. This was a song that was the only major hit of the solo career of Mr. Cheeks. Number 47, I had Monie Love. For the female rappers, I had Monie Love on the list at number 47. Monie Love was truly an underrated rapper in terms of being born in London. She had skills that could hold her own with the likes of other female rappers such as Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, or Roxanne Shante. Monie was well respected on the British hip-hop scene. She made a significant impact as a protege within the American hip-hop landscape. Monie was a member of the legendary Native Tongues crew that featured the likes of A Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, the Younger Brothers, and many more. She began a career with a group called the British Judge Crew in 1988, but her coming out party would be on her guest appearance on Queen Latifah's Ladies First. Right, whoever liked this live feed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. She was one of the first, like the few British rap artists to sign with a major record label, Warner Brothers Records. Monie Love made her debut in 1990 with the album called Down to Earth. The album featured 3 charting singles, the title track, the 2 songs that would define her career, Money in the Middle, and It's a Shame. These 2 songs would be nominated for a Grammy, but she didn't win. The album will be Monie Love's greatest moment in her career. Next, number 46, I got Dana Dane, the English channel, Dana Dane. Dana Dane's place in hip-hop is mysterious due to the fact that he will always be linked to being an emulator of his friend, legendary rapper Slick Rick, instead of being an innovator of his own style. Dana Dane was pressed to adopt Slick Rick's original style. According to Slick Rick, Dana didn't rap like him with the English accent. The industry forced Dana Dane to use the accent, then it paid off when, in 1987, he released his first album called Dana Dane with Fame. Isaac Kim, thanks for tuning in. But the album was a success, produced by Herbie Lovebug. The album was number 2 on the top R&B hip-hop albums chart. The album included 4 charting singles like Nightmares, Cinderfella, Dana Dane, Delancey Street, and This Be the Death Beat. The album would go certified gold, and Dan was known for his unique outfits. His claim to fame was his lighthearted raps combined with the love of fashion. Number 45, I got Jean Grae, unsung female MC genius. Jean Grae was a great underrated female rapper in her own right, but she had to deal with the plight of being a female. She started well in the underground scene in the late 90s, but in 2002, she released her debut album, Attack of the Attacking Things, which was well received. Then she collaborated with great producer Knife Wonder. In 2008, Genius was released. The album was classic but underrated. Then she went into hiatus for a few years, and Jean has a flow that's off kilter. She keeps you guessing. Her vocals are impeccable and excellent, putting a bunch of syllables into a sentence. Another female rapper that I had on the list was Rod Digger. She's no grave digger. This is described no other rapper. But Rod Digger is underrated as a female MC from the Garden State, which is in New Jersey, known as the Garden State. She was affiliated with the Flip Mode Squad that was led by Busta Rhymes. It's criminal that Rod Digger is underrated because she was involved with the clique with good talent. She had to deal with rapper Eve, who was hot new female rapper out of the Rough Riders crew. Rod Digger's debut in 1999 was Dirty Harriet, but the album failed to go gold despite getting press that was good regarding the album. She didn't release an album until 2010. So I had her on the list, number 44. Number 43 had Large Professor. Now, Large Professor is known as a great producer, but he definitely had no skills to hold his own. So I put him at number 43. He's known as a great producer, but he's very underrated in that regard as a producer, but also as a MC. He was part of a group called Main Source when they made a classic debut album called Breaking Atoms. But the great production of Large Professor overshadowed his lyrical skills. Check out the song from Breaking Atoms. This is a song they did called Just a Friendly Game of Baseball. It was a conceptual song about police brutality by using a baseball reference. RBI, real bad injury. But don't get happy, you're in jail for a century. It's as bad as being shot in the groin to see who you shoot you, then flip a coin and watch him run for the stretch. But you don't know the man is at home waiting to make a catch. Overall, Large Pro's skills lyrically was tight. He released his long-awaited album in 1996 called the LP that featured the Mad Scientist, and I Just Want to Chill. But the album was shelved by Geffen Records. And so in 2002, he released his second album called First Class. The song that stood out from the album was Stay Chiseled, featuring Nas. Overall, Large Professor will always be regarded as a producer than a lyricist, but Large Pro always had skills. At number 42, I took it to the West Coast. Paris, West Coast black nationalist. Now, Paris was a rapper that didn't go with the gangster rap phase that was prevalent in the early 90s. He was following the lineage of black nationalist rap that was going on throughout the East Coast. Paris was from San Francisco, California. He was influenced by the Black Panthers, but he joined the Nation of Islam. Currently, Paris is an agnostic. That's the time when I did my research. They say he was agnostic. In 1990, Paris began his debut with The Devil Made Me Do It, the title track along with the politically charged Breaking the Grips of Shame. Both songs were hit records, and the album was very funky, combined with rhymes that was insightful and poignant. This album represented an era when political commentary was potent and wasn't an exception to the rule in hip-hop. So in conclusion, The Devil Made Me Do It was an album that had a pro-black and anti-establishment stance to it. So Paris was bringing food for thought in his own way. So in 1992, Paris released Sleeping with the Enemy. The album contained the pro-black theme, but can feature controversial songs like Bush Killer, regarding the revenge fancy of the assassination of the then, at the time, President George Bush. Then Coffee, Donuts, and Death dealt with a cop killing tirade. So in Gorilla Funk, on that album in 1994, he doesn't temper his rage and expands his range, including adding societal issues to his hit list. Overall, Paris in the sea of Afrocentric MCs during the early 90s was one of the most unique and talented in his field of black nationalist rap. Then on the West Coast side, still being on the West Coast side, I had Cam West Coast Consciousness. I had him on the list. Cam was a rapper from the West Coast who had his own version of the West Coast conscious rap. He didn't go with the gangster rap, but stayed in his lane of bringing consciousness due to his lyrics that was influenced by the Nation of Islam, which he had membership with. He's the cousin of Ice Cube. Cam had a powerful baritone voice, a great knack for his multi-syllable lyrics. He made his debut in 1993 with the album Never Again. The album featured inflammatory anti-government lyrics, including the hit single Peace Treaty. The song was about the 1992 Watts Gang Treaty. Peace Treaty reached number 2 on the Hot Rap Singles Chart in 1993. The other standout song was Still Got Love for Him, the smooth grooving sample of the moment's Sexy Mama. The album was highly acclaimed, but unknown to the masses. This album was the highlight of his career. Overall, Cam was very talented, but he never received the acclaim he deserved. Despite being related to Ice Cube, Cam was unappreciated throughout the 90s decade. And at number 40, I take it back to the East Coast. Special Ed, one of a kind. Special Ed. Special Ed was like the beginning of the young rapper movement when you look at Chris Cross, the Youngsters, Illegal, and Shi Ali. Special Ed was a rapper from Flatbush, Brooklyn. He made his debut in 1989 at the age of 16. His first album was Youngest in Charge. Special Ed had notable hits like The Magnificent, Think About It, and the song that defined his career, I Got It Made. I'm Your Idol, the highest title, numero uno. I'm not Puerto Rican, but I'm speaking so that you know. Youngest in Charge was a major success because the album sold more than 500,000 copies. The second album came out in 1990 called Legal, which meant that he was 18 years old. The album wasn't quickly acclaimed as the first album, but he had some good records like The Mission, Come On, Let's Move It, Living Like a Star. 5 years later, Special Ed released Revelations, but the hip-hop landscape had changed, especially Special Ed's age, because he was 23 when his third album was released. So overall, Special Ed was a pioneer in his own right because of his youthful expression and exuberance. But at his age, he was able to display a swagger that made him one of the most respected East Coast rappers from 1989 to 1991. Now, number 39, I had the DOC, What Could Have Been. The DOC was a rapper that should have been a superstar in the annals of hip-hop. He was a rapper from Dallas, Texas, who relocated to California to become a powerhouse in terms of being a creative force behind gangster rap group NWA. His quiet dominance was prevalent because he co-wrote many of the group's releases. This is why the DOC is on this list as an underrated rapper. He's even underrated as a writer for NWA. The DOC made his debut in 1989 when No One Could Do It Better. The album was a number 1 hit on the top 1 R&B hip hop charts for 2 weeks. On the top hip hop R&B charts for 2 weeks. No One Could Do It Better was number 1 for 2 weeks. So the 2 hits off that album was It's Funky Enough, The DOC, and The Doctor. The album went platinum 5 years after the release. The album was the highlight of DOC's career because months after his release, he was in a car accident, unfortunately, where he nearly died, but he survived, but he crushed his larynx, changed his voice permanently. This prevented DOC from being a promising superstar. He didn't release another album until 1996. Overall, the DOC wasn't your typical West Coast rapper due to being more lyrical, because on his first class album, he didn't talk about guns, violence, or drugs. He looked up to Public Enemy and Run DMC. King T. To keep it in the West Coast things, King T. I got him on the list. Place in hip hop is very mysterious, rightfully so, because he was one of the earliest rappers coming out of Compton, California. He signed Capitol Records. King T was a West Coast pioneer, along with Ice-T and Kid Frost. He made his debut in 1988 with Act a Fool. The album had his share of classic hits such as the title track, Payback's a Mother, The Coolest, and the remix bass. He was responsible for guiding the career of the Alcoholics in the hip-hop industry. Act a Fool was King T at his finest. His next album was in 1990, At Your Own Risk. The album was a humorous and filled with some messages, with songs like Do Your Thing, Jay, Dre, Faye, and On a Dance Tip. What makes King T so underrated? Because of his influence upon the gangster rappers that will emerge in the early 90s to the mid-90s. But the biggest influence that came from King T was his major influence on the late, great Notorious B.I.G. King T influenced B.I.G. due to his deep voice, flow, and rhyme style. If you listen to the Notorious B.I.G.'s first album, the Ready to Die album, he would at times imitate King T's style. Recently, Ice-T said that King T was one of B.I.G.'s favorite MC. This is why King T is one of the most underrated rappers of all time. At number 37, I got Freddie Fox, Slide Like a Fox. Freddie Fox is truly an underrated rapper because he is from New York. He almost became a collaborator with Eric B. from Eric B. and Rakim. The scenario was that in 1986, he was supposed to have had a meeting with Eric B., who at the time was looking for an MC to pair with. Unfortunately, Freddie missed the meeting, and Eric B. teamed up with Rakim to become a group. Imagine that if Fox didn't miss that meeting with Eric B., then Rakim maybe wouldn't have become the rapper he would be in years to come. He would have been Eric B. and Freddie Fox instead of Eric B. and Rakim. But Freddie continued to work his way up the food chain of being a great MC. In 1989, Fox released Freddie Fox Is Here, which was produced by Eric B., but he parted ways with MC record, MCA Records. In 1993, he released Crazy Like a Fox, which circulated through Epic Records, but the record label shelved the album. So Fox began making cameo appearances with BDP, Naughty by Nature, MOP, OC, but the appearance that created a buzz was being on Gang Starr's The Militia from Moment of Truth. You blank owe me for my rhymes. I come to collect for you dope fiends blank and rap. Here to inject check. I'm stylish water baby. Spread it around. 2 years later, he released Industry Shakedown. In 2000, the album was his crowning jewel that became the best-selling independent release of that year. So the song that stood out was Part of My Life. Freddie Fox worked his way up to being a respected MC. Number 36, I got MCA. Back to the West Coast. MCA was a rapper out of Compton, California. Provided his own niche in the game of hip hop. His stage name was inspired by KRS One's name. So he chose A because of the hood culture, including Old English, 800, and Caliber firearms. He was the de facto leader of Compton's Most Wanted. The group made its debut in 1990 with its Compton thing. The album had its hits such as One Time Gaffing 'Em Up, Late Night Hype. Then it was Straight Checking 'Em in 1991 with Duck Sick, and it's a Compton thing. In 1992, the third album, Music to Drive By, became the group's most commercially successful album. The songs that stood out was Dead Men Tell No Lies and Hit the Floor. He was featured as an actor in the Minister to Society movie. He did a song called Straight Up Menace, which became the defining hit for MCA. Because in 1994, MCA released his solo debut, Become Strapped, arguably his best record solo album. The song that stood out was All for the Money and G's Make the Hood Go Around. The album went number one in the Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums chart. It was certified gold. At number 35, I had Brother J from X Clan to the East, My Brother. Brother J from X Clan was a brother from another. With his accomplished vocal skills and teacher-like lyricism, in 1990, X Clan made their debut to the East Blackwoods. Brother J was the lyrical frontman who was smooth with his lyrical delivery. Check out Grand Verbalizer. What time is it? African, very African. Come and step into brother's temple and see what's happening. Then taste the bass flow coming from a zero. Tell me what a sissy know. Funkin' lesson is a new flow. Stalking, walking in my big black boots. Living off the earth, eating herbs and fruits. His contribution to the group was unparalleled, but he never got the credit as a great lyricist. Maybe the X-Clan group was deep into the African culture. The red, black, and green garb wasn't marketable in the early 90s, but Brother J was a skilled MC. The group released 3 more albums, but it didn't match to the East Blackwoods. Overall, Brother J was the truest grand verbalizer in the history of hip-hop. At number 34, I had Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Way Too Funky. Del the Funky Homo Sapien was a West Coast rapper who was the founder of the rap clique, the Hieroglyphics. He played a key role in fueling the rise of P-Funk and influenced jams. What made Del so unique was incorporating humor into his rap repertoire. He was different from his cousin Ice Cube. Del, the Funky Homo Sapien, made his debut in 1991 with his album called I Wish My Brother George Was Here. The title of the album was influenced in reference to funk legend George Clinton. The album became a benchmark debut due to the humor and wit that was good natured. The hits off the album was Mr. Damalina and Dr. Bombay. The album was a commercial success. Right, that's 3 people. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. The album was different from the P-Funk oriented music that was displayed on his first album. He made an album called No Need for Alarm in 1993. So Del produced the album along with his crew, the Hieroglyphics. So the 2 songs that stood out was A Catch a Bad One and Wrong Place. Overall, No Need for Alarm was a golden age Hieroglyphics classic album. Overall, Del the Funky Homo Sapien laid down the groundwork for Souls of Mischief, the Far Side, the Digable Planets, to follow the blueprint that he created. Right, number 33, I got Wise Intelligent. Word to the Wise. That's Wise Intelligent. He was the local front man of the Poor Righteous Teachers. So, the Poor Righteous Teachers, they were from Trenton, New Jersey back in the day. So the group's claim to fame was 1990's Holy Intellect, which was a pro-black hip-hop classic. Rock This Funky Joint was the song that defined the career of Poor Righteous Teachers. Let's take a look at Wise Intelligent's first-time style. His style was unique due to his blended and island inflections with crazy rhyme patterns. The style of Wise Intelligent branched out to other rap artists that copied his style, such as the Nickens, the Fugees, and Snow. Wise Intelligent overall made his mark in hip-hop history, but the setback was the 5% ideology didn't lead to a mass appeal for the Poor Righteous Teachers. Number 32, I had the GZA Liquid Sword, Genius Purity. Before the GZA, Gary Grice was known as the Genius. He was a soul rap artist on Cold Chillin' Records when he made his debut in 1991 with Words from the Genius. The song that stood out from the album was Come Do Me, Words from the Genius, Who's Your Rhyming Hero. But the seeds were planted to have the Genius turn to the GZA. The Wu-Tang Clan formed together in 1993. The group released the seminal classic Enter the Wu-Tang. Bring the Ruckus, the GZA displays his lyrical wit. Yo, I'm more rugged than slave man brutes. New recruits, I'm blinking up MC troops. I'm blank up MC troops, but what matters is how you shine on your own as a solo artist. So in 1995, the GZA hit a grand slam with the underrated classic Liquid Swords. On the title track, the GZA showed why he was arguably the sharpest in the clan. I'm on a mission that blank is say is impossible. When I swing my swords, they all choppable. I be the body dropper, the heartbeat stopper. Liquid Swords had the classic hits, the title track, Cold World, Fourth Chamber, Labels, and Shadow Boxing. Overall, Liquid Swords cemented the GZA as the purest MC in the Wu, but the purest of them all. At number 31, I had Sadat X. X marks the pops with Brand Nubian in 1989, the group's debut album, One for All, which became an instant classic album. The song All for One featured the greatest lyrical performance from Sadat X when he said, On foul is a style, that's why you caught a clip. My suitcases is packed and I'm going on a trip to Philadelphia. I go for self and still leave slamming. The school bell's ringing, I caught somebody cramming for the test. Oh yes, my study guide was thick. I cut you with my road, didn't hurt you, just a nick. I'm saying that's just a great, lyrical verse right there. So in 1993, Brand Nubian without Grand Puba released an album called In God We Trust, and the first single called Punch Jump Up and Get Beat Down. And this is another lyrical performance by Sadat X when he said, One day I was riding on the train, I seen these two kids talking about the new rain had fallen. I didn't say nothing because these kids caught my goat, even wore my coat like a murder that they wrote. His solo career began in 1996 with Wild Cowboys. The album didn't receive a lot of mainstream attention, but it was a popular underground release because of the album's great guest producers such as Buck Wild, Diamond D, Showbiz, Pete Rock, The Beatminerz, and OG, TJ OG. Now, the three singles that stood out was Hang in My Eye, Stages and Lights, and The Lump Lump. All right, number 30, I have Mos Def. Mos Def, definite. I got Mos Def because he began his career as a rap artist in 1994, but he emerged as a solo artist in 1996 by working with the De La Soul and the Push Babies before releasing his first single, Universal Magnetic. He signed with Rawkus Records. Mos Def teamed up with Talib Kweli to become Black Star. First album was Mos Def and Talib Kweli are Black Star in 1998. The hit songs that stood out was Respiration and Definition. The Black Star came from the Black Star line, which is a shipping line by Marcus Garvey. So the album was a classic as a whole. Then in 1999, Mos Def went solo to release his first album, Black on Both Sides. So the album featured live instrumentation, socially conscious lyrics. The song stood out was Miss Fat Booty, Mathematics, and Umi Says. The album was certified gold. Overall, Mos Def was an underground rap hero whose lyrical delivery was poignant, conscientious, and distinctive. At number 29, I had Stretch from Noise by Nature, Ill Times Finest. Stretch was a rap artist from East Orange, New Jersey, who was the front man of the trio Noise by Nature. He was part of a group that crafted the mastery of making hip-hop anthems. For example, in 1991, the song that defined Noise by Nature was OPP, was an acronym that stood for Other People's Property. The song was not only an anthem, but OPP was one of the first rap songs to become a pop hit. Down with OPP became a popular catchphrase in America during the early 90s. The next anthem was Uptown Anthem from the Juice soundtrack, then Hip Hop Array and Feel Me Flow. Overall, Treach was able to balance pop and hardcore sensibilities along with his nimble rhyming techniques with vicious swagger and rage. Treach's biggest contribution was he broke boundaries and opened doors for rap artists that had only been open for the party rappers. But any artist who came out after Annoyed by Nature was able to capture a suburban type of audience. Treach's lyrical technique consists of complex rhyme patterns, slant rhymes, punchlines, polysyllable flows, and rhythms. The style that he originated can be seen in rappers like Tech Nine, Els High, and Eminem. At number 28, I had OC, Word is Bond. Had OC. Here we go. OC was a rapper from Brooklyn who made his debut as a guest appearance. Made his guest appearance on 1991's Organized Confusion Fudge Pudge. In 1994, he released his first album, Word Life, which will go down as one of the most forgotten hip-hop classic albums ever made. The reason why this album is forgotten because Nas and Biggie's classic albums got the most shine in 1994. OC's album had hits like Born to Live. The defining song of his career was Time's Up. This song would feature his greatest lyrical performance of his career. You lack the minerals and vitamins, irons and the nonsense. Blink who I offend. Rappers sit back, I'm about to begin. But foul talk, you squawk. You never walk the walk. More or less destined to get tested. Never been arrested. My album will manifest many things that I've seen, saw, did, or heard about, or told firsthand, never word of mouth. What's in the future for the fusion in the changer? Rappers are in danger. Who will use wits to be a remainder? Overall, Word Life was overshadowed by 1997 OC released Jewels, which was another classic album. So the songs that stood out was Far From Yours, My World, and Can't Go Wrong. Despite not having the commercial success of his 90s rap contemporaries, OC will always be one of the most gifted lyricists in hip-hop history. Number 27 had Ja Rule the Damager, Monastery's Mystique. Ja Rule the Damager came from East New York, who was discovered by Gang Starr. Ja Rule was part of the Gang Starr Foundation. Ja Rule made guest appearances on Gang Starr's Daily Operation 1992. 2 years later, he was the self-proclaimed prophet and the savior of hip-hop. In 1994, Ja Rule released The Sun Rises in the East, which was a classic album. The song that would define his career was Come Clean, which featured the best lyrical performance of his career. Check this. You want to front what? Jump up and get bucked. If you're feeling lucky duck, then press your luck. I snatch fake gangsters MCs and make them flag it, flambe. Your nine spray, my mind spray. Malignant Miss Staley pumps the funk. The Rodox yours, gang stuffed in a car trunk. You couldn't draw trunk. You couldn't come to the jungles of the East popping that game. You won't survive, get live, catching records I think. I don't game bang or shoot out bang bang. The relentless lyrics, the only dope I slang. The other standout song was You Can't Stop the Prophet. Ja Rule was merged as the new face of rap's consciousness. So in 1996, Ja Rule the Damager released Rap for the Mav, and the sole purpose of the album was to save hip-hop and the people who listened to it. So the first single was You're Playing Yourself, which was dealing with the climate of hip-hop at the time. One Day was a song about Ja Rule being outspoken against the art form of hip-hop and its plight. So he decided to become a hero by saving hip-hop because he felt it was in trouble. He calls out P. Diddy. He calls out Foxy Brown, Bad Boy Records. Overall, Ja Rule made his mark on hip-hop. And number 26, I got Talib Kweli, not to be put in a box. Talib Kweli was a rapper from Brooklyn, New York. He made his debut in 1995, but in 1998, Talib and Mos Def released their first album, which represented a late 90s renaissance of conscious Afrocentric hip-hop, which was received modest mainstream success. 2 years later, Talib collaborated with DJ Hi-Tech, released an album called Train of Thought, where DJ Hi-Tech produced the majority of the album. The sound of the album was characterized by dynamic, high-tempo, neo-soul type of sound. Standout songs was The Blast and Move Something, but the album that would lead to critical acclaim and commercial appeal was Quality in 2002, where the song was Get By, produced by Kanye West. Overall, Talib Kweli was one of the most admired and most respected rappers on the major label circuit in the early 2000s. But if still so, Talib would have been more of a commercially successful rapper of his time, instead of being on this list. Pharoahe Monch, Organized Pharaoh. Pharoahe Monch was a rapper from Queens, New York, who was one half of the duo Organized Confusion. In 1991, the group released their self-titled album, which is the group's first album. Monch had the lyrical ability along with intelligent vocabulary and metaphors. The first album was a classic album. The hits off the album was Fudge Pudge, Walk Into the Sun. In 1994, the second album was Stress, The Extinction Agenda. The album was another classic from the group. The hits off the album was Stress, Stray Bullet, Let's Organize, and Bring It On. After two classic albums, Organized Confusion made one more album called The Equinox. Pharoahe went solo and released Internal Affairs in 1999. The stand-up song was Simon Says, which was a hit. Overall, Pharoahe Monch will always be one of the underground hip-hop's distinctive voices. At number 24, I had MC Shan, the original Queensbridge pioneer. MC Shan put Queensbridge on the map before Nas. Yes, Nas had a better rap career, but Shan made it possible for him to shine coming out of Queensbridge. Before Big Daddy Kane, Kool G Rap, Roxanne Shante, or Biz Markie, MC Shan was the first superstar of the Juice Crew. He made his debut in 1985 with Feed the World. He signed with Cold Chillin' Records and released 1987's Down by Law. So the album featured Kill That Noise, The Bridge, Bait Bite, Left Me Lonely. This was the finest time of MC Shan's career. He only released two albums, but they flopped. The reason why he stopped making records because he was producing dancehall singer Snow, who had the #1 smash Informer in 1993. So Shan felt that he didn't have to make any more music because he was making millions due to the song being so big. So overall, MC Shan made an impact in a few short years than most rap artists do over the course of their entire careers. He created a blueprint for future Queensbridge artists to build their careers from. At number 23, I had Heavy D, the rapper that you couldn't hate. Heavy D brought love and happiness to the hip-hop culture. This is why he was the rapper that you couldn't hate. You couldn't hate or diss Heavy D because he made his debut with The Boys in 1987 with Living Large. The album was a commercial success, featuring 3 hit songs like Mr. Big Stuff, The Overweight Lovers in the House, Don't You Know. As a whole, the album was considered a classic, but the next album was Big Time in 1989 that featured 3 hit singles like We Got Our Own Thing, Somebody For Me, Girls, They Love Me. In 1991, Peaceful Journey was the third album featuring songs like Now That We Found Love, Don't Curse, and Is It Good To You. So in 1993, 1994, the group released Blue Funk, Nothing But Love. Blue Funk was a certified gold, and Nothing But Love was 2 times platinum. Overall, Heavy D created a formula of his own that led to gold and platinum records. His romantic raps resulted in golden age hits. Heavy D was hip-hop's version of Luther Vandross. At number 22, you got Chubb Rock, Hard as a Rock. Before Biggie Smalls, Big Pun, and Rick Ross, there was only the one and only Chubb Rock. He was born in Kingston, Jamaica, but grew up in Brooklyn, New York. He was discovered by his cousin producer Howie T in 1988. He made his debut in 1988, which was self-titled, but it was the second album that would change things around, and the winner is 1989. He had a minor hit called Your Bad Chubs, but his third album was the breakthrough called The One. This album had hit records such as The Chubster, Just the Two of Us, and the song that defined Chubb Rock's career was Treat 'Em Right. All 3 singles were #1 hits, and this was Rock at his best as an artist, but overall his legacies that he won over hip-hop listeners was distinct baritone flow and intelligent wordplay. At number 21, Schoolie D, the originator of gangster rap. Before NWA, there was a Schoolie D who originated gangster rap on the East Coast in Philadelphia. In the mid-'80s, Schoolie D teamed up with DJ Cold Money. He had lyrics that represented urban reality, violence, and sexual bravado. D would later embrace and adopt an Afrocentric style, helping bringing Afrocentric culture with KRS-One. He made his debut in 1985, which was self-entitled. The 3 songs that stood out was Put Your Felines On, Gucci Time. The song that would define Schoolie D's career was PSK. What does it mean? This PSK stood for Parkside Killers. This was the first hardcore song that included graphic sex, gunplay, and drug references. PSK will be influential for the rise of the West Coast gangster rap. This contribution qualifies Schoolie D as one of the most underrated rappers of all time. Number 20, I got Daddy-O of Stetsasonic, Black Thought Before Black Thought. Before Black Thought was the leading frontman of the Roots, there was Daddy-O, who was the frontman of Stetsasonic, who was the original hip-hop band. Daddy-O helped form Stetsasonic in 1981. The group was from Brooklyn, New York. The group was about positive lyrics that was uplifting, made Stetsasonic the forerunners of alternative jazz rap, jazz hip-hop. So 3 albums were made from the group. The song that defined the group was Talking All That Jazz. Daddy-O went solo and released an album in 1993. The legacy of Stetson is that they destroyed the myth that rap music wasn't real music, but they showed rap music was real music, the lives of instrumentation, and big man musicality. At number 19, I had Tragedy, formerly known as Intelligent Hoodlum, or Awesome Intelligence. Tragedy Gaddafi, formerly known as Intelligent Hoodlum, was a rapper from Queensbridge who helped spawn the careers of Nas, Capone Noriega, Cormega, and Mobb Deep before Nas Illmatic was released. In 1994, Tragedy was responsible for coining the term Illmatic 6 years earlier. This is why he's on the list. He made his debut in 1985 with Go, Queensbridge, in a duo with DJ Hot Day. This song caught the eye of legendary producer Marley Marl. In 1986, the duo made a single called The Tragedy, Don't Do It. Then he became a junior member of the Juice Crew. In 1990, Tragedy made his debut with an album which was self-titled. The hits off the album was Black and Proud, Back to Reality, and The Rest of the President. Then it was 1993 where Tragedy released Saga of a Hoodlum. This will be the last album that will have the moniker Intelligent Hoodlum. The hits off the album was The Posse Shoot 'Em Up, Grand Groove, and Street Life. Overall, Tragedy made his mark for Queensbridge, opening doors for others to make a name for themselves coming from the borough. At number 18, I had Master Ace, True Master. Another Juice Crew member on this list is Master Ace, who was known for his appearance on the classic capacity cut, The Symphony. On this classic song, Master Ace had the best lyrical performance of his career. Like, listen closely, so your attention's undivided. Many in the past have tried to do what I did. Just the way I came off, man, I'm gonna come off stronger and longer, even with the drum off. I keep going and going, just like a rip, going and flowing, just like a river. I got a whole lot to give, so I'm gonna give a little at a time. New trails are blazing, actions in effect, it stays in. Yeah, it's like a shot from a cannon. I am the man in charge, and I've been playing it. I jam strong enough that it can lift your soul. I'm the originator, and my rhymes are made of gold. So in 1990, Master Ace made his debut album, Take a Look Around. He had two minor hits like Magic Music Man and Me and the Biz. 3 years later, Master Ace released Slaughterhouse, which addressed the growing trend of violence in hip-hop music at the time, especially on the West Coast. The hits off the album was Jeep Blank Blank, Born to Roll, and the title track. In 1995 was Sitting on Chrome, which featured the crossover hit Born to Roll, Saturday Night Live, Style Wars, and You Ain't You the Master. Overall, Master Ace was a highly back. Kwame, hip hop's fashion trend icon. Kwame was a rapper who was a fashion trend icon due to the polka dot motif in the costume and production design. This was Kwame's trademark because his fans were wearing polka dotted clothing. In 1989, Kwame made his debut at the age of 16 with an album called Kwame the Boy Genius featuring A New Beginning. Herbie Love Bug was the primary producer of the album. What made Kwame unique outside of his fashion was that he was one of the various rappers who had a backing band, which was A New Beginning. So the hit singles off the album was The Rhythm, The Man We All Know and Love, and Sweet Thing. Then in 1990, Kwame released his second album called A Day in the Life, a Polkadelic Adventure, which is the concept album that dealt with the life of a high schooler. The hit singles was Only You and One of the Big Boys. The album was filled with cartoonish, electronically altered voices. The album was colorful and had good humor. Overall, Kwame made his own contribution in the game of hip-hop. At number 16, I had Chill Rob G, Jersey City's finest. Chill Rob G was a rapper from Jersey City, New Jersey. He was part of the DJ Mark the 45 Kings, New Jersey-based flavor unit collective, which included Apache, Queen Latifah, Latif, Laquem Shabazz, among others. But he was signed to Stu Fine's Wild Pitch Records in the late 80s, releasing his debut, Ride the Rhythm, in 1989. The producer DJ Mark the 45 King had produced the majority of the album, so his lyrical skills was on display on this album. Because of his style and flow over the hardcore sound, the easygoing conversational tone, the hit songs off the album was Courts in Session and Let the Royals Flow, which was a song that was used by the German pop rap dance crew Snap, lifted the a cappella and sound of the song, and that the group was sued for stealing the version of the song without Rob's involvement. During the 90s, Chill Rob G disappeared from the hip-hop scene due to personal reasons and frustration with his label, Wild Pitch Records. At number 15, I have Phife Dawg, A Tribe Called Quest, of A Tribe Called Quest. No second, Banana. Phife Dawg is a rapper from Queens, New York, who was a member of A Tribe Called Quest. Phife Dawg was an MC that held his own on a mic alongside Q-Tip. Phife has delivered memorable lyrical performances in the annals of hip-hop. Here are some examples of Phife's lyrical prowess. Yo, microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? The 5 foot assassin with the roughneck business. I float like gravity, never had a cavity. Got more rhymes than the whiners got family. No need to sweat or senior to gain some type of fame. No shame in my game, cause I'll always be the same. Styles upon styles upon styles is what I had. You wanted this to fight, but you still don't know the hat. Now here's the funky introduction of how nice I am. Tell your mother, tell your father, send a telegram. I'm like an energizer, cause you see I last long. Our crew is never ever whack because we stand strong. Bo knows this, Bo knows that, but Bo don't know Jack because Bo can't rap. What do you know? The Dead Dog is first up to bat, no batteries included and no strings attached. I like them brown, yellow, Puerto Rican or Haitian. Name is Fife Dog from the Zulu Nation. Told her during the jam that we can get down. Now let's now the boots like the group H Town. If these lyrics don't qualify Fife as underrated, then I don't know what will. Yeah, he's definitely underrated. Rest in peace to Fife Dog. I had him at number 15. At number 14, I got Just Ice, New York's original gangster. Just Ice was a rapper from Fort Greene, the borough of Brooklyn, New York. He was one of the first in New York rappers to embrace gangster rap. He was known for his fast, forceful rhymes. His first album was Back to the Old School in 1986. He had classic hits like Cold Getting Dumb, Latoya, and Gangster of Hip Hop. Then in 1987, it was Cool and Deadly, where the standout track was Going Way Back from featuring KRS-One. Also, there was the original Gangster of Hip Hop and Mash It Up, featuring KRS-One. The song was the origin of the hip hop meme, Suicide is Suicide. Then the Desolate one, 1989. The album featured welfare recipient, utilized the ragamuffin style of Sling Team and non touch the Just. Overall, Just Ice was original in his own way during the mid 80s and late 80s. Okay, whoever likes this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. At number 13, I got Spoonie G, the original Lover MC. The original Lover Man MC, Spoonie G. Before Scarface, Biggie, Tupac, Cool G Rap, Slick Rick did cinematic lyrics, there was Spoonie G. Before Snoop, LL Cool J, Too Short, Big Daddy Kane, or any MC who claimed to be the Mac player or a pimp on a rap record, there was Spoonie G, who was the original cold-crushing Lover MC, who described the slick narratives about cruising down the street in a new Mercedes XL, beating fly girls and having sex. Spoonie could tell stories like no other, and coolness before rap came. He had the lyrical seduction before LL Cool J. His career spanned from 1979 to 1987 with classic hits like Spoon and Rap, Love, Rap, Big Beat, Take It All, Spoonie's Back, Monsters Jam, Survival, That's My Style, Mighty Mike Tyson, You Ain't Just a Fool, and The Godfather. This is why Spoonie G is an underrated rapper. At number 12, I got Black Thought, super lyrical. Black Thought is a rapper who is the front man of the Roots, who has been holding it down for years as a lyricist in the game of hip hop. He has delivered some of the best lyrical performances in hip hop history. For example, check out these few examples like You Know, the Rap Dynasty, the Roots Repertoire, the Living Tenant from the Reservoir, Serve the Spar, the Injural, Predator, Other Competitor, I see MCs where the paramedics are. At first, I'm like, nah, I'm not smart from afar. The strike to cut the fat, fake rap star Jugular. Lost Generation, Fast Paced Nation, world population confront their frustration. The principles of true hip hop has been forsaken. It's all count true and about money making. Pretend to be cats don't seem to know their limitation. Sack replication and false representation. You want to be a man that stand your own. So MCs require skills. I demand some shown. Let the frauds keep fronting. And roam like a cellular phone, far from home, giving crowds what they want. Official hip hop consumption. The fifth thumping. If that doesn't represent classic MCing, then I don't know what will. So I had Black Thought at number 12. At number 11, I got Buckshot Shorty of Black Moon, Underground Phenomenon. Buckshot Shorty of Black Moon was a rapper who was one of the illest MCs during the early 90s to mid 90s. Black Moon was the tone setters of the rebirth of East Coast hip hop during the early 90s, whether it was songs like Who Got the Props, Put Up, What Up, Bo. Suckers want the flow, but they got no show. I'ma grab the mic and flip the script and live your stun. Buckshot's the one that get the job done. Mic check, I get paid to wreck your set. Get ready and jet, cause I'm a threat to your fret. I'ma take your back. Come follow me on the journey to see for a real MC. The mind tricks the body thinks the mind is crazy. But when I get slazy, keep my flow, I'm Swayze. 1993's Into the Stage was Black Moon at its peak. Whether it was back, bucking down, I Got You Open, and How Many MCs. Overall, Buckshot showed that he can hold his own against any lyricist in his time, and he answered the bell. So I had Buckshot Shorty at number 11. At number 10, I'm in the top 10 right now. At number 10, I got Lord Finesse, Funky Lord Technician. Lord Finesse was a rapper from the Bronx, New York, and part of the DITC crew, Digging the Crates crew. That's what that marker stands for, the acronym, Digging the Crates crew. He made his debut in 1989 with Wild Pitch Records, but then in 1990, along with DJ Mike Smooth, he released Funky Technician. The first hit single was strictly for the ladies, then it was back-to-back rhyming in the title track. Finesse was a very original and imaginative with every line he used on Funky Technician. But the album as a whole was a classic album. Lord's lyrical delivery was a sort of difficult to get into, but it was a very unique from other rappers at the time. His flow was funky, and that's why he's the funky technician. The production on the album was excellent, featuring producers like DJ Premier, Showbiz, Mike Smooth, and Diamond D. This album was a slept-on classic for one of the finest to come out of the Bronx area. Funky Technician was a classic underground album. Overall, Lost Finesse is one of the underrated rappers ever. He was a legend of underground rap. At number 9, I got Grand Puba, the grandson of them all. Grand Puba was a rapper from New Rochelle, New York, who got his start with the group Master of Ceremonies in 1985 with Doctor Who and DJ Shabazz. Then there was a Cracked Out and Sexy, but the album from the group didn't come out until 1988. The name of the album was Dynamite. There were 10 songs on the album. The group incorporated reggae, go-go, and R&B into traditional New York boom-bap sound. There was a prelude to what Grand Puba would bring once he joined Brand Nubian. In 1989, Brand Nubian was formed, which consists of Grand Puba, Sadat X, Lord Jamar, and DJ LMO. The group was released One for All, which was a classic album. The album was unique because of the spirit, swag, and energy and knowledge building. This album separated them from the other country's contemporaries. The most memorable verse from Grand Puba was from the first song of the album, All for One. When he said, I hit a beat and swing a note as if my name was David Ruffin. Quit the toast to MC just like an English muffin. Don't worry about a thing because the Puba's never bluffing. I get headaches from the whack. Then I take a buffer and I max. Wait for an opportune, until the opportune time, then I tax. But should I max? Overall, the Grand Puba is not only an underrated MC, but as a producer, he produced records for MC Lyte and others. Look at it in the fashion world, where he put Tommy Hilfiger on a map to the urban world. He was the first backpacker rapper. Just check out the video 360 What Goes Around. In the world of R&B, he was one of the first rappers to collaborate with Mary J. Blige. Just check out her first album, and his first album in 1992. Grand Puba deserves his props as one of the greatest MCs. At number 8, I got Kool Keith, No Follow to His Style. When Kool Keith, a rapper from Ultimate Neck MCs, came out in 1988 with Critical Beatdown, the group was weird but abstract with the subject matter. Kool Keith and his crew came out of the Bronx, New York. Said G was the producer on the album as well as an MC. All right, that's 5 people right there that like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Said G was the producer on the album as well as an MC, but Kool Keith was the shining star of Critical Beatdown, as far as the album is concerned. So Kool had the sick genius combined with the otherworldly lyrical style. The clearest classic hits off the album was Watch Me Now, Ease Back, Kool Keith, Housing Things, Give the Drummer Some, and the song that would define the group was Ego Trippin', which was the introduction of the classic drum break from Melvin Bliss, synthetic substitution to the world of hip-hop. This is the record where Kool Keith this and Run DMC. Say what, Peter Piper? The hell with childish rhymes. The line expressed the disdain for rap's ruling class. Overall, Kool Keith will be original with his style because his lyrics was abstract, surreal, filled with juvenile humor. He was the master of the internal rhyme style. Kool's extensive use of the internal rhyme was a precursor to what Eminem and other artists would have embraced this style. Number 7, I got Keith Murray, most beautiful lyricist. Keith Murray was a rapper who used to be called MC Do Damage, which was traded versus with Daddy Kane. Then he was introduced to Eric Sermon from EPMD by K Soul. So Keith made an appearance on Sermon's No Pressure album. Then in 1994, Keith Murray made his debut album, The Most Beautiful Name in the World. The album went certified gold. The biggest hit of his career was the title track. The other hit was Get Lifted. What made Murray so unique was his ill psychosomatic lyrical skills. The second album was Enigma in 1996. On this album, he improves on his lyrical skills with the 2 songs that stood out was The Rhyme and Dangerous Ground. Overall, Keith Murray will go down as one of the best lyricists of his time. At number 6, I got Redman, Newark's finest. In the early 90s, Redman emerged as one of the future stars in hip-hop. In 1992, Redman made his debut with What the Album. This album was Redman's finest work ever in his career. Also, this album was a classic album. The classic hits off the album was Blow Your Mind, Time for Some Action, Tonight's the Night. This debut album was excellent, with Redman would emerge as one of the elite MCs on the East Coast. This delivery was very aggressive and hardcore enough for the streets. Overall, this album was one of the best albums of 1992. Then, 2 years later, there was The Dark Side with hit songs like Rockefeller and Can't Wait. The album went certified gold. Then in 1996, it was the third album, Muddy Wars, which was a gold record, which had hits like It's Like That, Whatever Man, Pick It Up. Overall, Redman created his own niche with his version of hip hop that was whisked out, combined with wit and wisdom, go with his trademark rap. Right, now in the top five, I got number five. I got Big L, Gone Way Too Soon. Rightly so. Big L was a rapper that could have been a superstar MC in hip hop, but his life was cut short because he was shot and killed in Harlem. He was only 24 years old when he died, leaving behind what could have been. But just look at, in retrospect, what Big L accomplished in his short but brief career. His debut album was in 1995, The Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. The album spawned three singles such as Put It On, MVP, No Ends, No Skins. Big L had the lyrics to go with the metaphors. 6 years later, there was the album called The Big Picture. The album had hits records like Ebonics, Holding It Down, Flamboyant, and Platinum Plus. The album had 16 songs on the album, like Flamboyant was a #1 rap single. Critics look out this album was one of the most underrated hardcore hip-hop albums of all time. Big L's legacy overall is that he may have been the most underrated lyricist ever. He often is credited for helping create the horrorcore genre of hip-hop. He had a rap style that was compounding and great at using one-liners, so may Big L rest in peace. At number four, I got CL Smooth, Smooth Operator. CL Smooth is the creme de la creme of the underrated rappers in hip-hop history. CL Smooth wasn't just a product of Pete Rock's production. CL had skills combined with his smooth, laid-back flow and distinctive voice fit perfectly with Pete Rock's sound wave. That is CL Smooth, who was the best to ever in terms of rhyming over a Pete Rock track. CL Smooth made his debut with Pete Rock in 1991 with the 6-song EP, All Sold Out, which represented hip-hop soul on wax. This album was just a warm-up for the 1992 with Mecca and the Soul Brothers, so this album epitomized what a classic album was. There was a song called They Reminisce of You, where you can make the case as one of the top 10 hip-hop songs of all time. CL masterfully displays his lyrical skill on this song, then would straighten it out where he addressed bootlegging and sampling fluid feuds with older recording artists, then the lack of promotional support from their record labels. Then there was Lots of Lovin', which is a credible love song where CL expresses suave poetics. In 1994, the main ingredient will be the last time from Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Hit songs like off the album was I Gotta Love, which is another love song where CL is getting his romance song with his lady as the hottest dime piece. Then was I'll Take You There, where CL was at his more cerebral, combined with the adjectives and verbs of the Kenny Burke Keep Rise to the Top sample. Overall, CL Smooth will go down as one of the hip-hop's most gifted lyricists due to his strong tenor and his lyrical rhyme flow that was fluid, precise, and razor sharp. Number three, Big Pun, the greatest Latino rapper. Big Pun is the greatest Latino rapper of all time, bar none. There have been many Latino rappers, but none can match the breath control and the lyrical technician that Big Pun was. He was a rapper that died before his time, before he died, because he died at the age of 28 from a heart attack. But that doesn't diminish his contribution to hip-hop. He made his debut in 1998 with the album Capital Punishment, where he had 4 hit songs like I'm Not a Player, Still Not a Player, You Came Up, and Twins. Deep covered 98. The album was a classic, not because of the music, but due to Big Pun's lyrical, technical efficiency and wordplay. The album was platinum. Big Pun was an inspiration for future Latino rappers in terms of showing that Latinos can have skills on the mic and use rhyme schemes. Overall, Big Pun had all the qualities of a lyrical master wordsmith because he epitomized the melody, unique flow, a voice that was unforgettable, humor, and the lyrics. Big Pun had a complete package. At number 2, I got Kool G Rap, the originator of mafioso rap. Kool G Rap was the cool genius of rap who was part of the Juice Crew. He made his debut in 1989 with DJ Polo by releasing their first album, Road to the Riches. G Rap displayed vivid storytelling, scholarly wordplay, thug bravado. This album featured G Rap's narrative about a hustler's rise and fall. The hit songs off the album was the title track, It's the Demo, and Men at Work. Overall, this album set off the trend of mafioso rap. Then in 1990, there was Run It Down Alive. Hit songs off this album was Streets of New York, Racism. G-Rap was making references to organized crime, gang violence, contract killing, and mafia films. The title track, Money in the Bank, and Death Wish. These songs represented that. The album even more cemented G-Rap as the founder of mafioso rap. Then in 1992, Live and Let Die, where G-Rap wanted a cinematic feel with each story telling a different story and adding backdrops for the scenes. The hits off the album was Ill Street Blues and On the Run. Overall, Kool G Rap influenced countless rappers, especially the mafioso rap. For example, if it wasn't for G-Rap creating this genre of rap, it wouldn't have been. And it was written by Nas, Only Bit for QB Links by Raekwon, Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z, or Life After Death by Notorious B.I.G. He was the pioneer of the street and hardcore content and multi-syllabic rhyming. He was one of the great storytellers in hip-hop history. G-Rap was excellent in all phases of the lyrical content. The only thing that eluded G-Rap was the commercial platinum status. But when you are ahead of your time, you represent many styles that will not lead to mass appeal. And finally, the number one underrated rapper of all time was the guru of Gang Starr, The Voice. The number one underrated rapper of all time in hip-hop history was the late great guru of the group Gang Starr. The guru stood for Gifted Unlimited Rhymes Universe. The guru and legendary producer DJ Premier made great music for more than 10 years. They made their debut in 1989. There's no more Mr. Guy Scott. The classic hits from the album was Positivity, and one of the great songs from Gang Starr was I Manifest. But the next album will be where Gang Starr will submit themselves as the best hip-hop duo of the 90s. Step in the Arena will be the group's first classic album, including 18 songs. The classic hits was the title track, Take a Rest, Who's Gonna Take the Weight, Love Sick, and the song that defined the group was Just to Get a Rep. Then in 1992, the classic music continued with Daily Operation. The hits off that album was Ex-Girl to the Next Girl, Soliloquy of Chaos, Conspiracy. In 1994, there was Hard to Earn, which featured more hits like Mass Appeal, Cold the Streets, Dwick, and Tunnels of Guns. Then in 1998, there was Moment of Truth, where the guru lead elevates his lyrical style on You Know My Steez. Then it was Royalty, featuring Casey and JoJo from Jodeci, and the Militia. Yeah, Casey and JoJo from Jodeci and the Militia, featuring Freddie Fox. Overall, the guru was underrated because he didn't overwhelm you with his rhymes. He knew how to make his laid-back voice match perfectly with the beats. On the Daily Operation album, the guru admitted that his lines are underrated on the song Too Deep. I'm too deep, and yes, much too complicated. My lines, when stated, are quite often underrated. The guru had a first-time style that came from his voice, which represented the streetwise monotone style. Yes, it may have been deadpan, which was different from other MCs during the early 90s. That is why the guru is the most underrated rapper in hip-hop history. R.I.P. Right, so that's it for a look at my book that I self-published years ago called The Top 50 Underrated Rappers in Hip-Hop History. I went from numbers 50 to number 1. So, hope you enjoyed the list. I won't do no live stream till Thursday. I'll be off tomorrow. I'll be back on Thursday to do a live stream. Maybe do just one or two, I'll see. But hopefully you enjoyed everything that I talked about with that, what I broke down today. All right, so that's it for the live feed, man. The live stream, I enjoyed it. Hope you learned a lot about the top 50 underrated rappers in hip-hop history, a book that I self-published years ago. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, the 5 people that liked the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel. Do more live feeds like this. Not like this, but not just my books, but other content, whatever it is. So keep supporting. I'll be back on Thursday. So I appreciate the time. Until then, talk to you on Thursday.